Hi everybody, this is a black and red Arcane Bombardment deck. We're trying to use this 6 mana enchantment to reuse all of our spells, and we're continuing our quest to find the best home for the card Push and Pull from Murders at Karlov Manor. This functions as both a removal spell and also a way to reincarnate some of our creatures temporarily in the late game. Now I'm going with this simpler 2-color approach because I found that with Push and Pull, we need to have a good critical mass of creatures available to cast Pull on later in the game. And we also need to be destroying our opponent's creatures enough that if their stuff is good, we can go ahead and steal that instead. So I've kind of organized the deck like this. You can see here in these first 2 rows, we've got basically spells that cost 2 mana, and I'm lumping Virtue of Persistence in with that. We've got 4 copies, so you don't need to hesitate to cast that one early and often. Then in the 3 drops, we've got both the Celestus and Phyrexian Fleshgorger, often played right on time at 3 just to get it out there, get something going, and get it into the graveyard when our opponents remove it. Then on 4 and 5, we've got a nice mix of Big Score and Gix's Command. Big Score helps us ramp and draw. Gix's Command gets our stuff back and sort of wipes the board in the right situations. A little tricky. And then there's Atsushi and Junji. So Atsushi helps us ramp up a little bit so we can get to an early 7 or 8 mana, start casting our Virtue, start casting our Etali Primal Conqueror, and flipping things over, getting to play those for free. And then we've also got Junji the Midnight Sky. This dragon can reanimate some of our best stuff or steal things from the opponent, and in a pinch is some nice direct damage and discard against those stubborn control players. Now we are sitting at 20 spells for an Arcane Bombardment deck, which admittedly is a little bit low, but the quality of those spells is generally pretty good outside of the occasional demand answers, which isn't actually all that bad. But if we can pull up a Push and Pull into Arcane Bombardment or even a Gix's Command, you see we can get a lot of reuse out of our creatures, not just our spells. Alright, well that's enough talking for now. I hope you enjoy these games with me over on the ranked standard ladder. Alright, let's take a look at what we got here. Looks pretty good. Going to start off, we've got Push and Pull as some early removals, so hopefully we can lean on that. Get going with a Xander's Lounge here. Really do miss playing with Phyrexian Fleshgorger sometimes. Just such a nice, flexible, and effective card. Kind of a pain for the opponent. Speaking of the opponent, got an Enduring Bond Warden going, so I guess we're going to see some counters. 3-color +1/+1 counters deck. Okay, let's get land number 3. I think, let's go with the Celestus. We've got Etali in hand. Yeah, I think the sooner we can get Etali out, the better. Ooh. Not only +1/+1 counters, but little golems with Animpakal. Alright, now let's get the Fleshgorger going. We could push the Bond Warden, but that doesn't really do much for us. Let's see if they try to attack with Pakal, and maybe we can take that out. Ooh. Halana and Elena, that's great. Alright, so attacks with both Pakal and the Bond Warden. Let's block the Bond Warden. Taking a big hit there, dropping to 8. Alright, go for the Throat. Alright, well, we may have to do a little cleanup here. Let's do Push on Animpakal, since that's tapped and sorcery speed, but I also don't want them to be able to protect Halana and Elena, so let's get rid of those too. And I think it makes sense to just try to block here. Maybe gain a little bit of life back. Take out one of these tokens, hopefully. We got all the hits here. Inti, Seneschal of the Sun, Warden of the Inner Sky. So I imagine they'll try to pump up the Warden here in the next couple of turns. Could be trying to bank on the fact that we won't want to attack with our Fleshgorger. Alright, pumps it up to a 4/5, Flyer with Vigilance. We are up to 7 mana thanks to that land, so let's see what Etali brings us. Ooh, we got a Gorger. Let's go full price. Botanical Brawler as well. No attacks just yet. It could be worth getting the Fleshgorger into the grave for this pull. Comes out as a nice surprise 7-5. Let's see what our opponent does with this board here. So drops us to 7 with that attack. Nothing we can do there. We'll take that action. Yeah, I was going to say, it's probably just a land anyway. Gix's Command the draw. Then we might have a different plan here. Yeah, I think we can do this. 2 or less, highest creature. Gets rid of our stolen creature, but we are clear to attack now for a swift 17. And that's a good game. Okay, this is pretty good. One thing I'm enjoying about this deck so far is the push and pull and the Virtue of Persistence. Works one way in the early game, works even better in the late game, and allows us to play like a higher density of ridiculous stuff. Let's get the lounge out. Virtue of Persistence and push and pull are sorcery speed anyway, so not like we need to keep those up on our opponent's turn for anything sneaky. So we've got Likeness of the Seeker on board. Joint Exploration. Opponent appears to be ramping into something. You can always assume it's a Traxa. And I love to see an opponent play an early Boseiju, just in case we can get a nice enchantment going later in the game. One less answer we got to worry about. Broker's Charm. Nice. Love to see an opponent playing Broker's Charm. It's like the most okayest of the charms, if that makes any sense. Alright, let's big score away, push and pull. Let's take a turn here. Alright, now you're talking. So this land brings us to 7. Let's go for Atsushi here. And then we can do a little Virtue of Persistence on the Likeness. So the removal we're likely to see from this opponent is probably Leyline based. And if they're going to exile something, I'd rather it be this kind of mediocre dragon. No. Okay. Well, it is instant speed, so let's go attacking and see what they do. Oh, the Wanderer. Okay. Well, pretty similar effect-wise for us, since we don't really have a way to remove enchantments anyway. So Atsushi is down, but that leaves us with the ability to do Fleshgorger. And we can also demand some answers. They've got the Edict, so we're going to have to sacrifice the Gorger. Tell you what, on its way out the door, it is an artifact. Let's go ahead and sacrifice that. Aurelia demands your sacrifice. You draw a Haunted Ridge and the 3rd Gix's Command. Wandering Emperor gives itself a counter. Opponent thinking about doing something else. Another Joint Exploration. So I've heard rumors of a Bant control deck that kind of leans a little bit on domain. But I must confess I haven't seen it too much on the latter. Alright, lots of mana, not much to do. Let's try to land a Virtue here while the Wanderer is kind of taking a break from making tokens. Gives us a nice little window to start getting this enchantment down. Opponent's checking our graveyard. Yes, I know we don't really have much down there. It's more of an investment in the future. Plus I'm banking on removing an Atraxa from the board and stealing that from our opponent.
Let your blade do the talking.
Okay, so as expected, makes a Samurai. We're going to reanimate our Fleshgorger. Let's play this land. Yeah, let's pass it on over. So we've got... Another Shieldred's Edict from the opponent. Alright. We're playing this game. So Phyrexian Fleshgorger down. Got a couple of options, I was going to say, with our lands. Both the Demolition Field and the Reliquary. Now that I think about it, we probably should have popped that Reliquary before the Fleshgorger died, but it's coming back anyway. Our opponent doesn't have anything good to reanimate right now. These memory deluges are making me uneasy. Although all they've got now is a Azusa's Many Journeys, followed by a Thornwood Falls. Counter going on the Samurai.
Show them how we greet our enemies.
Alright, well, we're dropping a 16. Fleshgorger comes back for free. Let's remove this Samurai before it gets out of hand. And, no, probably should have drawn first. Whatever, it's fine. Hey, okay, that's what I like to see. We got an Arcane Bombardment. Question is, can we keep it on the board? Not sure what our opponent is building towards here. Normally we've seen an Atraxa by now from most decks. Hits us with the Depopulate. Alright, so this is just going to be turn-by-turn management of the Fleshgorger. Token comes back.
Keep watch for intruders.
Untapped land would be superb here. Fleshgorger. Hey, we got it. Alright, so this allows us to do Arcane Bombardment with 2 mana left over for an instant. Don't think we need to do it now. Let's just hold on to that. Yeah, additionally, if they do play a big creature to the board, we can try to remove it with Go for the Throat and then steal it with Virtue. End of their turn. So opponent's done enough memory deluging. They've probably found what they're looking for, and I'm really curious to see what that is. Okay, in response to the counter, let's go for the Throat. Activate Bombardment. We pull up a Push and Pull. Don't know if we actually have anything to choose from anywhere. Let's, sadly we gotta decline that for now. We actually have too much reanimation and not enough things to reanimate. Alright, let's... What do we got? Artifact and enchantment. I mean, maybe we just Gix's command and start hitting things. Yeah, let's go for this. Alright, so... We're going to destroy the Samurai, and we're going to put counters on the Fleshgorger. Make it that much more painful to target with any kind of removal. Go for the Throat, just in case they've got a way to put a flash counter on it. Nothing to push and pull yet. We'll choose our creature. And this 9/7, swing that over at the Wanderer. Force them to have an additional answer for this card. Alright, and Reliquary finds us 2 cards, an additional Phyrexian Fleshgorger. So as long as we can avoid getting these creatures exiled, I think we can use our repeated push and pull to keep bringing them up out of the graveyard. We know we've seen Depopulate from the opponent, so they could be running that as a cheaper board wipe rather than Sunfall. So there is hope. Alright, well, there's the Depopulate we were just talking about. We get one of the Gorgers back for free. Alright, let's go land. We're going to pay full price for this. And just pass it on over. Both can't attack just yet. Oh, farewell from the opponent. I wasn't even thinking about that one. Giving you the benefit of the doubt. So exiles pretty much everything. And then goes Jace. Are they going to try to mill us? That's kind of a they are. So we mill 15. We've got Junji down there now, and Atsushi, and an Etali. Oh, that's great. That's wonderful for us. Yeah, if I were that opponent, I would have been real hesitant about doing that. Let's grab Etali and Junji with this push and pull. Etali's going to give us some extra juice off the top. Wow. We're going to steal a Jace. And do we have anything else to pull? I think we do. Yeah, we just have one. One Atsushi, so let's go with that. Great. Let's mill that opponent too. Turnabout is fair play. We do give them another memory deluge, but we are winnowing their deck down as well. And let's go attacking here. Nice chunky attack, bringing them to 15. And we're going to get some good effects off of these dragons as they hit the graveyard. So Atsushi. Let's exile the cards. If we take the treasures, I don't think that's enough to play a virtue here. However, with Junji, now we can target Etali, since it's a dinosaur, not a dragon. We'll get a little extra value. We'll take our Fleshgorger, and we'll steal their other Jace. Yeah, good game, opponent. Good game. Alright, we're going to keep this. I've been informed I made a mistake in the previous game. Turnabout is not fair play. Turnabout is a 4-mana blue instant from the Urza's block. Ooh, opponent with a rough Dreams of Steel and Oil steals nothing, as the Phyrexian Fleshgorger just arrives in the nick of time. Whoa, Stone Brain main deck in best of 1. Tell me more. Choose a card, search the hand. Okay, so they have to choose it, and then they go looking. But they've had a good look at our hand here. Unfortunately, they haven't seen the craziest things on the right yet. Circuit Mender. Okay, black and white. Circuit Mender, Stone Brain, and a little discard to lead off. Interesting. All right, let's demand some answers. We will discard the second demand answers. We'll get another Gorger. Mycosynth Gardens. So it's X plus that, so we can play the worm. Okay, perfect. Yeah, you may have noticed I do like to throw in at least one copy of the Mycosynth Gardens when I'm playing with the Fleshgorger. Oh, there's a Dreams. Etali's likely disappearing. There it goes. Of course they would draw that. It's alright. All is not lost. What do they take with the brain here? The rest of our Etalis, that's okay. I think we've constructed this deck in such a way that even if you remove that, or if you focus on just Bombardment, like the rest of the deck still kind of works together. Which is always good. So let's just slam some Gorgers. When in doubt, I mean, it's not a bad plan to just go with these 3-mana versions of these guys. I'm also going to see how many times I can say Fleshgorger in one video. Get automatically blocked by the YouTube algorithm, no doubt. Just kidding. I'm sure there are worse things on this platform. Let's go attacking for 6. Bring them to 13. We do have a big score in hand. All right, let's end it there. So if these perish in a board wipe, Cruelty's fine, especially if they go with the discard first. We don't have anything in the grave yet. They exiled Etali. Okay, so opponent whiffs again with some discard. That is a disheartening opponent to face as a discard deck. Let's go with a big score. Discard the Go for the Throat. That's not going to work on the Mender. We get another push and pull. Huh. Okay, so let's play Mountain. Opponent doesn't have anything in their graveyard. We just have some spells. So I think the play, let's turn the Gardens into another Gorger. So this way we can have a good amount of stuff on board. Alright. Let's pass it on over here. Get in, bring them to 7. Opponent goes tutoring with cruelty. We may have overextended a bit. Opponent attacking with the Mender. Sunfall is going to exile all of our Gorgers. Let's big score in response. We'll pitch one of these push-pulls. Virtue, but that's not going to help us as these Gorgers go away. Alright. So now we enter the rebuilding phase. Unfortunately, opponents kind of shot themselves in the foot with that cruelty. Yeah, there's nothing left to reanimate if you're exiling everything. Between Dreams and Sunfall, it doesn't leave you much to chew on. Alright, we draw another push and pull with nothing to reanimate. Let's go Roadside Reliquary. Ooh, there's Junji. That's a fun one. Alright, Reliquary. Let's get that dragon on the board. So if we can get one attack in with this, we might be okay. They do have a way to gain life from the Restless Fortress. Ouch, depopulate. Okay, so we're going with discard. There's nothing to reanimate from either side here. They discard 2 Planeswalkers. Alright, incubates and attacks immediately. We're still at 23 though. We can reanimate Junji for free thanks to Virtue. We've got Celestus. We could push that creature. We can't attack with Junji. Just need a little damage here. Yes, your go. I understand. Thank you. There's a lot of reading going on over here, opponent. All right. I think what we're going to do then, let's start off. Let's look at all of our options. Draw with the Reliquary. Go for the throat. Okay, in that case, let's destroy your creature. And then... Alright, I think this will work. Just trying to buy some time. Invasion of Tolvada. That's not great. And okay, reanimating the big Kaya.
I can't stand by when evil threatens the multiverse.
Tries to exile Junji. Well, I don't think so. Let's remove Junji from the board. We're going to get a trigger out of that. We'll make them discard and take 2. Junji is back. Oh, and we draw another Junji? Your go. All right, let's get started here. Opponent starting off with the Swamp. We will lead off with the Xander's Lounge. These should probably actually be Proving Grounds. Now that I've had a chance to mull it over a bit, I kind of default to the Xander's Lounge in my brain, but the Proving Ground would let us flip Etali in the rare case. Let's get rid of that now that you've spent mana on it. In the rare case that we do get to enough mana to flip over Etali and attack for the win. Opponent with Gix, nice turn 3 play. Well, let's go with the Gorger. We kind of want this in the graveyard, and so I'm happy to block with it if they don't have the removal. Although that can be an odd situation sometimes. Sure, I will make that trade. Because we kind of want that artifact creature in the grave. Oh no, Trespasser. Should have known that was coming, so that gets exiled. Well, this lets us do Celestus and have 2 mana up. We can demand some answers, should the situation call for it. Another Gix. Removes our only spell from the grave with the Trespasser. And these two now don't fit neatly under the Gix's command we've got in hand, so let's demand some answers. We'll discard the Swamp. Push, pull, and another Gorger, and another demand answers. Well, at least this deck is consistent. Let's go ahead and just push the Trespasser. That kind of wrecks most of what we're trying to do. And we can discard demand answers. And might as well replay this Gorger, see if they want to make another trade, or if they've got another backup Gix to take this one's place. They're going for the trade again. Happy to do so. Don't be Trespasser. Fool me once. Oh, man. Alright, well, classic mono-black style here. However, this board does fit under Gix's command, so let's go ahead and take care of those 2 creatures with both of those modes. Feeling great about the Junji the Midnight Sky draw. This opponent plays Shieldred the Apocalypse, so we're going to take a bit of damage from this until we can push and pull it. Unless they attack. Would we block this? Oh, that's rude. Opponent with the end exiles Junji. Only 2 copies in here, so not a huge deal. Very rude, opponent. Alright, well, we're going to return the favor. Let's remove Shieldred. Keep up this Abrade. Trust in the Celestus to find us some late-game magic. Opponent with a Tenacious Underdog. That's going to knock us to 10. Get them a free card. Oh, well, let's go with it. Arcane Bombardment. We are shields down to whatever the opponent wants to do to us this turn. Invoke Despair, no longer standard legal for you old standard folks. Underdog coming out again as we drop to 7. I believe the best answer black has now is Shatter the Oath and maybe Extract the Truth. Alright, let's Abrade. We get push and pull. We're going to pull up from our opponent's graveyard, who has maintained all of the creatures this game. Let's see. Let's take a Trespasser and a Trespasser. And we will eat the Sleeper and an Underdog. And that will allow us to attack for 6, gain a little bit of that life back as we attack here and get Gix and another Sleeper. We're going to leave that Shieldred down there, because I would love to pull that up in the future, and we'll get this Gorger on the board here. Alright, well, good game, opponent. Okay, this is interesting. We're going to keep this one. I would love a little more early game interaction, but once we hit turn 4, everything goes fantastic. And Phyrexian Fleshgorger helping us get there. I need something like a what doesn't Seth have the punt counter? I need the Phyrexian Fleshgorger counter. See if I can get my editor to pop something up in the bottom right hand of the screen. Spoiler alert, that's me. artisanal one-man show here. Let's start off with the Fleshgorger. And opponent with a War Leader's Call. So that's the flavor of Boros we're dealing with. Let's go attacking here. Let's get Atsushi down. Look at this curve. We got Gorger into Atsushi, into Junji, into hopefully Etali. Versus a bunch of tokens. I like those odds. So Sanguine Evangelist. Great value in a card. Ooh, they've got Gleeful Demolition for our Gorger. That's a nice touch. Okay, let's play Reliquary. It's between Junji and Command. Let's go attacking first. Opponent with 2 cards. Let's go Junji. I don't know that we need to remove this board. I can't think of anything we need to be worried about that they could play and really punish us with here. Second Evangelist. So that comes with 2 damage and a free bat. Case of the Gateway Express. Honestly, I've never seen that card before, but good work, opponent. Let's make some treasures. That's going to enable a early Etali. And Gorger the draw. Alright, well I think this is a Gix's Command situation now, actually. Let's put some counters on Junji, and let's wipe those bats away. Junji going to give us a nice cushion of life as we drop them to 3. Holding back on the Gorger so that maybe we can play Etali next turn, or if they can somehow block a Junji, we can play this second one and get a trigger. Could be useful. Okay, so War Leaders come down, giving everybody haste. Oh, and Battle Cry. Are we finished here? 10 plus 6. Out of cards. Is there any other... Uh-oh. No, Bivouac not enough because it's tapped. Ooh, that was way closer than it should have been. Nice job, opponent. But, yeah, not enough. Good game. Alright, let's try this. Got our push and pull and our virtue. Things to do in the early game. Opponent with a Mole Detective companion. Alright, a lot of discard out today. Opponent takes our push and pull with an early Duress. Best of 1 Duress signals one thing. We're going to discard some cards this game. Alright, Tenacious Underdog from the opponent. Yeah, we'll just play a land number 3. Let's go ahead and virtue that, just to slow things down a hair. If they start missing land drops, like if this is the more aggro version, they won't be able to play it for a while. But nope, hits land number 3, but nothing. Alright, good sign for us. Let's play Takenuma. Get ready for a big score. Turn 4, they're blitzing the underdog. Also a good sign, meaning they don't have Shieldred in hand. Alright, let's big score then. We'll pitch this lounge. We get a dragon and another lounge. Ooh, an Etali. 1 untapped land short, so let's go Atsushi here rather than spending the treasures. This will kind of guarantee us that we can play Etali next turn. Oh. Spoke too soon. They've got a The End for Atsushi. So we get no benefit from its passing. There's the untapped land. Alright. Slam down an Etali here. We get Duress. Alright. And push and pull. Don't know if we have any targets for that, but we're going to do it anyway. Oh, we've got your underdog. Sure. And we'll duress you. How about that? Wow. No wonder they weren't doing anything on 4. Look at this hand. Let's take an Edict. Yeah, I'm not sure any of that is really problematic for us. Although probably Extract the Truth can take care of this Virtue, but... Alright, so Rankle's Prank going to make us sacrifice and discard. That's fine, we got Virtue hanging out in space over here. They discarded the enchantment removal that they know we're going to be leaning on? Something about that doesn't add up. Oh, I see. Alright, so they're able to follow up with a Graveyard Trespasser. Get rid of Etali. I mean, but we still have Virtue here. Alright, let's use Reliquary to try to draw. Another Reliquary, we'll take that and do a Celestus. And let's... we could use it right now, but then they could make us discard something if they get the right draw. Yeah, let's just pass it on over here. Okay, Edict, yeah, that's fine. It was your underdog to begin with. Opponent goes trespassing in a graveyard and removes their own underdog. Why would you do that? That's like, that's your card draw right there. Okay, Celestus activation. Let's discard the land. Yeah, let's pop this other Reliquary and see what else we can get. Another Abrade. So I think it's command to make them sacrifice. I wish we had some creatures to get back. Yeah, we don't. That's fine. An expensive Shieldred's Edict here. And opponent scoops it up. Alright, good game. Alright, well, I'm enjoying this deck. We're going to do a little more here. Got some early removal into, hopefully, an early Junji or an accelerated Etali off of the big score. Opponent with a Cavern of Souls on Angels. Giada, Font of Hope. How many removal spells have been pointed at Giada on turn 2? A lot. She's really good. Alright, land number 3. Pass it back. Looks like black and white. Opponent with the Overseer. Gonna let that one go. Bombardment the draw. Alright, definitely gonna try to big score then, unless something really catastrophic comes down. Drops us to 18 with the attack from the Overseer. Archangel of Wrath on 4. Alright. Let's big score then. Discard Demand Answers. There's a land and Etali. What an embarrassment of riches we've got going here. I think let's try for the Bombardment. So if that sticks around, we can reuse some big scores. Okay, they've got a Giada. What would a deck like this play? They wouldn't Sunder the Gateway. I told you Giada was good. Look at that. Giada into Inspiring Overseer coming down as a 5/4. And us with no board wipe. Okay. Well. Yeah, perhaps we should have Etali'd there, but it's always kind of a roulette wheel of chaos. Let's start with a go for the throat on the big Overseer. We get big score. Let's discard the Gorger. Sorry, the Phyrexian Fleshgorger. Gix's Command, an excellent draw. Let's do each creature and sacrifice the biggest one. Gotta love it when they fit nicely under those conditions. Okay, now we're set up with some treasures. Could go straight into an Etali who could activate bombardment for us. Resplendent Angel. Ooh, and a Steel Seraph. All the good angels coming out here. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't give haste. I mean, good for us, but, you know. Alright. Well, I think we gotta spin the wheel. We have no other spells. What do you got, Etali? Paragon and a push-pull. Let's take the Paragon for sure. Yeah, opponent still has some angels. We have a Gorger. We could take a... I mean, Archangel of Wrath has the lifelink, and we can draw off the Overseer. I think that's okay. And then we can Gix's Command. Let's make them sacrifice, and whoa, opponent has seen enough, apparently. Good game.